Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan. I am just one reader and you are watching the third and last part of my May book haul, which has been a great book haul. So if you haven't watched the first two parts, I strongly recommend that you go and watch them because trust me, you will not want to miss those books. So in this last part of the book haul, I will talk about some beautiful gorgeous books as well. Starting out with The Blind Assassin. This is of course by Margaret Atwood and it won the Man Booker Prize. Margaret Atwood is an author who I haven't read yet. I do own The Handmaid's Tale and Cat's Eye, but I haven't read either. I'm really looking forward to reading her work. I don't know which one I'll read first, but this one sounds really wonderful. And one of the girls from the restricted section, I don't remember who it was, but one of them has always talked about this book in such a way that has just really made me want to read it. So that's The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. The next one is a book that I picked up mainly because of Simon. Hi Simon. Simon, obviously the one and only Simon from Savage Reads. This is the Gustav Sonata by Rose Tremaine. She won the Orange Prize, which is now, I think, the Bailey's Prize for Women's Fiction. I don't know if she won it because of this or because of another previous work. I love this cover, by the way. It's really sober and elegant and minimalistic and simple. It's historical fiction, it's set in the war, but it's kind of a different take on war and family and some interesting dynamics there and some friendships that maybe potentially lead up to something else. I don't know. Every single review that I have seen or read about this book has really made me want to read it. There seems to be no flaw in this book, so I'm really looking forward to it. The next book, excuse me, the next book is a book that I think Jen Campbell was the first booktuber that I remember who read this book, loved it, sang its praises, and just loved it. And she sort of made me want to read it, but then it is historical fiction and I am not really a fan of historical fiction. I sometimes feel like I'm too ignorant to really enjoy it. But then a lot of people, more and more people started enjoying it and great reviews started to pop up in BookTube, and finally I can no longer pretend that I don't want to read it. So I do want to read it very much, actually. And I'm talking about The Butcher's Hook. This is by Janet Ellis. And it has a beautiful cover, just absolutely stunning. It seems weird and gritty. It kind of has that London vibe that I really enjoy in historical fiction. And I've heard that this book is actually quite out there. So I want to see what the fuss is about. Excuse me. The next book was recommended by one of my teachers. She claimed this to be an absolute wonder of nonfiction, and this is called Instrumental, a memoir of madness, medication, and music. And it's about the life of this musician, James Rhodes, who I think had some kind of psychotic breakdown, and this book sort of intertwines or blends in his work, his music, his condition, his psychotic experience in a very unique way. So this kind of has pretty much all the things I love. It has music, it has mental health or mental disease in this case. It is a memoir, so it's always interesting to read nonfiction. Sorry that I'm drinking water, but it's so hot here in Mexico City. It's so hot. I've been drinking water all day. Now, the next book has probably like one of the most spectacular covers. It's very simple, but it's gorgeous at the same time. And it is The Strays by Emily Biddle. And every review really that I've seen or read about this one has really made me want to read it too. So this has a lot to do with art and friendship and family, and I really, honestly, I was attracted because of the art side of this. I never read books that focus very much on art or that have that sort of artsy, artistic feel. So I feel like I could really enjoy this. Now the next one is a book that I hadn't really heard that much about, but I saw a couple of reviews. It's by a Mexican author who I didn't even know existed. And most importantly, I was attracted to it because it's set in Mexico City. And, you know, this is my city. So I feel like it's going to be really cool and really entertaining to read a story that takes place in my city, because that never happens to me. So the book that I'm talking about is Signal to Noise. This is kind of a fantasy, urban fantasy by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And it's really cool that this is set in Mexico City, because since I am a reader, I am Mexican, and my whole identity, I guess, is Mexican. However, because I read books mostly in English, I can never have that experience of reading about a place where you live in or that you have lived in. So it's gonna be really cool to like see characters in a setting that I actually know because I've been there. Like I can't believe that exists. So I've heard great things about this one, and right here it says for fans of Stranger Things. So really looking forward to this one. I have two more. First, I have The Knicks. This is by Nathan Hill. This has a very interesting premise. It's about this writer, Samuel Anderson. It says it's 2011 and Samuel Anderson hasn't seen his mother in decades, not since she abandoned the family when he was a boy. Now she's reappeared, having committed a crime that electrifies the nightly news and inflames a politically divided country. So I feel like this is this writer's quest to investigate his mother and hopefully find out things about himself as well. I really liked the cover design of this book. It's really simple but striking, and it's a very long book. It's like 700 pages long. But I've actually heard that it's kind of funny that such a long book is so easy to read and such a fast-paced book that it just flies by. The Knicks. And last but not least, this is a book that has intrigued me so much for so many reasons. This is called One of the Boys, and this is by Daniel Magariel. I originally knew about this, or I originally saw this at, who was it? I think it was Conrad's channel over at 7 Days at Sea. Hey, Conrad! Conrad made a separate review for this book. I love his separate book reviews. They're just so insightful, and he really made me want to read this one. This is extremely short. It's almost a novella. I mean, it's like 100 pages long. It has a commentary here on the cover by George Saunders, who is one of my favorite writers, and it says, "Brilliant, urgent, darkly funny, heartbreaking, a tour de force." And from what I remember from Conrad's amazing review, this is just a poignant examination of what it means to be a man and sort of father and son relationships and brother relationships, brother to brother relationships, and it's all about masculinity. So I feel like this is going to be really interesting, really interesting. I love this kind of thing. Very literary, very short, but really powerful. So thanks for the recommendation, Conrad. And that's it. that's the last part of my book haul. I'm so glad that I was able to share all of these books with you guys. I would love to hear some comments from you telling me about these books. Which ones have you read? Which ones do you recommend? Do you not recommend? Which ones did you encounter for the very first time in this book haul? Which ones do you want to read? If you had to read only one, which one would you read? Which one would you read first? I would just love to hear from you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.